So, sexual abstinence, this can refer to probably a prostitute who does not want to indulge in sex on a particular day. She can either abstain temporarily or permanently. When it becomes permanent abstinence, that means she's no longer a prostitute. She has refrained from hawking or selling her body. Do you understand? So let's talk about kinds of abstinence. You have fasting, we have vegetarianism, we have sexual abstinence, pleasure, drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and smoking cessation. So these are the different kinds of abstinence and the kinds of things you can abstain from. Let's take it one by one. Fasting. Fasting is primarily the act of willingly abstaining from some or all food, drink, or both for a period of time. A fast can be total or partial and may be prolonged or intermittent due to the period of fasting. Fasting practices may preclude sexual activity as well as food, restraining or refraining from eating certain types of food or group of foods. For example, one might refrain from eating meat. Yes. But when it comes to ordinary, there are certain kinds of abstinence. A permanent one. You don't have to, for a dibia, yes, you don't have to eat pork meat, dog meat, but this varies from communities, all right? So you do the ones that your community takes, or you abstain from the one your community does not like and they do not uphold. So this varies. When you are talking about abstaining from certain kinds of meat, all right? Then there are some religion that abstain from eating meat and in general. All right? When we talk about your Muslim friends, you see it in their culture. You see it is an aspect of their religion. So this is a kind of abstinence carried out through fasting. A complete fast, in its traditional definition, is abstinence of all food and liquid except for water. Let's talk about vegetarianism. Vegetarianism is the practice of a diet that excludes meat. It excludes meat, including game, marine mammals, and slaughter byproducts, poultry, fowl, fish, shellfish, and other sea creatures. There are several variants of diet. Some exclude eggs or products produced from animal labor, such as dairy products and honey. When you talk about being a vegetarian, it means you eat just plant. You don't eat any kind of animal. A vegetarian can be on permanent, abstinence of eating meat, or a temporal abstinence of not eating meat. So it depends. Because as the future is bright, there are some that tomorrow they can decide to change and start eating meat. They no longer want to be known or associated with as being a vegetarian. All right? So this is a kind of abstinence for some. When they abstain from eating meat, all they know is plant-based food. We talk about vegetables. That is what they eat. If you talk about meat or eating fish or any poultry product, they see it as a sin, not a crime. You are punishing them. All right? So it can be seen as punishment for them. Even merely viewing people killing animals, they feel hurt. Yes, those are the kind of people they will report you because they call it animal abuse. That is what they term it. Okay, what about those people that eat animals when they see those ones that cut vegetable all the time? Cut. What of if they report you too? And it's known as vegetable abuse or plant abuse. So it's vice versa. It depends. Culture differ. It varies. You do what is obtainable in your own society. You keep to their rules and regulations. You keep to their norms, their ethics. That is how a society functions. Let's talk about sexual abstinence. Though initially I've mentioned it, sexual abstinence or sexual restraint is the practice of restraining or refraining from some or all aspects of sexual activity. There is a reason for that. The reason can be medical advice. It can be a psychological reason, legal, social, financial reason. When you don't have money, uh, philosophical, moral, or religious reasons. So sexual abstinence is distinct from asexuality. Celibacy is sexual abstinence generally motivated by factors about an individual's personal or religious belief. That is when I now talked about the dibia or the spiritualist. There are certain works you want to do, you need to abstain. Then there are some, they don't want to get married. You see the monks, all right? When you talk about the monks, they don't have anything to do with women because of that sexual abstinence. You talk about the reverend sisters, for those ones that are pure, all right? This kind of sexual abstinence refers to them. It can be permanent, it can be temporal. So it depends on the individual. It depends on the, should I say, organization or religion. It depends on their code of conduct, their code of ethics, their doctrine, yes. But in spirituality, it's a little bit different because abstaining comes naturally along with your agwu. Agwu gị nwee ihe ndị ọ na-asọ. So ị ga-edebe ya bụ iwu na nsọ agwu for you to function properly, for you to thrive as a dibia, as a spiritualist. There is no spiritualist, genuine or real one, that doesn't have nso. From speaking vulgar words, there are some of them, they use vulgar words a lot. This shows you that this person does not have nso. I have listened to some ezenwai, to some, ezenwoke. Whenever they talk, they use profanity. Sometimes they talk about sex as if the way they talk about it, to some people, it might sound as if they are sexually starved. But some, it might be that they were not properly brought up. Because that's the way they talk. They use vulgar words. Ukurulalo, which should not be. Because as a dibia or a spiritualist, there is this kind of esteem. Yeah? There is this kind of pedestal people place you on. So if you fall from that pedestal, it doesn't tell well of you. That is why one needs to be careful. Even in the things you write on social media, even though people say there is time for everything, time to laugh, time to, be serious, and so on. But make it a pattern Make it your attitude. Make it your behavior. That is, as a spiritualist, there are certain things you are not meant to say. You see them, but you don't have to open your mouth and talk because of the environment. Some people might want to tackle you at that point in time because they know who you are, or they want you to fall off from that pedestal. So that when you say, hey, look at what this religious man said. Look at what this Dibia said. Look at what this spiritualist said. It is then you know how the public view you, how you are esteemed, or how you are regarded. Obrokwu niile ka ị ga na-etinye ọnụ na ya na-ekwu in public. Mali ya amalụ. Gị nwa bụ onye akpọrọ oku. Naturally, there is this natural law that you should respect and restrain and refrain from using vulgar words. Anybody that you see who does that, it means that there is, in fact, their level of spirituality is still low. You don't have to talk that way for you to be accepted by the masses, for you to be accepted by people or by the society, so that we'll say, oh, you know what's up. No. So you see, using these vulgar words can trigger off feelings, emotions in other people that can lead them to behave in a certain way that is bad in the society. And when you get them to own up to that, they will say, is it not this person that says this? What have you done to that? What have you done to them? So when it comes to my own now, my mind is different. So we need to be careful as a dibia, as a spiritualist. Even if you are a religious body, you see, they don't talk anyhow. They have a body that represents them. You know, the public relations unit for organized religion. But you, as a dibia, you need to know yourself. You need to be mindful of the things you say, mindful of how you live your life. Because now when that's looking up to you, there are people who are looking up to you to see some certain standard of life in you. Because the way you live your life, that is how you motivate people. That is how people view you. If you don't know, you don't come on social media and start talking about sex up and down, using vulgar words. Even the way you dress, you as a spiritualist, if you dress indecently, what do you think you are doing? So we say, they are the beautiful ones. They are the ones that dress well. They are the owners of fashion. Yes, we know all that. They are the owners of fashion. Beautiful things of life. Does that mean you should dress indecently? Does that mean you should leave your body uncovered? Now I want to ask, what kind of spirit is that you are working with? There are levels in spirituality, in the spiritual realm. You should be an epitome of sacredness, of holiness, not by wearing skimpy clothes and burying your body and painting your face up and down. I didn't say you shouldn't paint too. Let it be in moderation. Even the weave on you fix, everything. Be mindful. You are just like a public servant if you have attained some height of spirituality. It is not everything you delve into or expose your body when you talk about sexual abstinence. You don't sleep with any kind of person you meet. Know the kind of person you are interacting with or you want to sleep with. Because there are some people you sleep with without checking them spiritually, they will bring you down. The vibration the person emits might be on the negative level. Because a lot of women, they have different spirits in them. They are the ones that there are some that they have reincarnated. They are on a revenge mission. That any man that sleeps with them must go down. And some men are like that too. There are some that they are on occultic mission. That anytime they sleep with you, they take something from your body, your womb, you, a woman. But for you, you are catching cruise and maybe they are paying you money for that. How about your future? You don't know whether it has been ruined. So that is why we need to abstain from sex. It's not all the time we allow our body to dictate to us. Let's not go too deep into that sexual aspect of it. But know this today that as a spiritualist, there are times you abstain to do some certain spiritual work, to connect, to facilitate and hasten everything so that it will go one hand. Do you understand? And then your spouse, will you be in agreement with your spouse so that they know? All right? Even if the spiritualist or the Dibia has many wives, of course, you know how to arrange your home. It's not what I came to teach on air. So let's talk about pleasure, abstaining from pleasure. There is a general abstinence from pleasure or leisure. It can be partial or full, may be motivated by ambition, your career, or general self-respect. You see some certain kind of people, they don't go clubbing because they have that, code within them to abstain from general pleasure. Maybe because of their position in office or their rank in the society. So they have to epitomize what they stand for. They have to show it in their character, in their conduct, in the way they do things. So therefore, there's a certain extent they can indulge in pleasure. Let's talk about drugs. It is widely accepted that abstinence from addictive drugs gives successful outcome. Drugs. It depends on, we have the different categories. The harmful ones, that is what we are talking about. We hear about Mkpurumiri. It has spoiled a lot of youth. A lot of youth have damaged their life taking this Mkpurumiri. It has caused setbacks in the society, especially in Igbo society. You hear about Mkpurumiri, students in secondary school indulging in that. How come? Who supplies them? So parents, you should be watchful. Watch your children. Watch the friends they make, who they interact with, to avoid problem, to avoid them becoming addicted to drugs. So if they should abstain from drugs, they will live a successful life. They will become someone in future. Alcohol. Titolarism is the practice and promotion of complete abstinence from alcoholic beverages. Some common reasons for choosing titolarism are religious, health, family, philosophical, or social reasons, and as a matter of taste preference. When drinking in pubs, they either abstain from drinking or consume non-alcoholic beverages such as tea, coffee, water, juice, and soft drinks. Some teetotal organizations also demand from their members not to promote or produce alcoholic intoxicants. Teetotalism. So, this is based on alcohol. Let's talk about tobacco and smoking cessation. Smoking cessation is the action of discontinuing the consumption of smoked substance, mainly tobacco. It includes cannabis and other substances as well. You abstain from it. It might have underlying health complications. Aside from that, there are some who never smoke in their life. They cease from smoking of any type, whether tobacco, whether marijuana, cannabis, it prolongs their life and it helps them think properly. But some they believe it helps it helps them to have mental clarity. I don't know. I've never smoked in my life. So why do people practice abstinence? People abstain during days of fasting. They abstain during days or months for spiritual works. Like I explained earlier, for the spiritualists, for the dibia. People abstain from sexual intercourse outside of marriage. This is why people practice abstinence. They abstain from sexual intercourse during the time of a woman's menstruation because it can destroy a man spiritually. Know this today. People abstain to obtain and represent a vicious lifestyle devoid of constant sexual urges. These include simple living, meditation, and other behaviors. Then again, why do people practice abstinence? To abstain during inpatient treatment and rehabilitation or incarceration of a prisoner. So there are various reasons why people abstain. It might not be the same with Mr. A or B. So people abstain when they want to fast, when they want to do spiritual works. People abstain from destroying their marriages by abstaining from sexual intercourse outside of marriage. It's a holy union, a sacred institution for the ones that practice the monogamy type of marriage, monogamous marriages. Even in polygamous marriages, there are times to abstain from sexual intercourse. It depends on the kind of life they live, their spirituality, or whether they are religious. So also, people abstain from sexual intercourse during a woman's menstruation. Of course, you as a husband, you know how menstruation is now. Except you want to ruin your life. Except you want to be on the decline spiritually. So you need to stop, to abstain. When the woman's period is over, yes, you continue with your sexual activity. Even though some say medically that a woman ovulates during menstruation. I don't know about that. But medically they say it's possible that is when the woman ovulates during her menstrual period. So therefore, the husband is encouraged to have sex with her during menstruation. But as a dibia, it is against spirituality having sex with a woman during her menstrual period. I don't want to go into debate over this issue. So people abstain to obtain and represent a vicious lifestyle devoid of constant sexual urges, to restrain themselves, to have control over their libido. So they need to abstain because of what they stand for in the society. You see, this can include simple living simply. Then you carry out meditations to see you through. People abstain during treatment. Karufa wenabata nyabo ogugwo they are undergoing. All right? Then let's talk about benefits of abstinence. One of the benefits is to prevent pregnancy. Another benefit is to focus on successful execution of vital spiritual works. Maybe there is an ongoing spiritual warfare, and this dibia need to stand on purity and sacredness in order to counter what has been done in the spirit, in order to liberate someone that is under the stranglehold, from dark forces. You abstain also to prevent sexually transmitted diseases. It's not as if your libido is raging. What? It's not as if your hormones are not raging, but you need to abstain to restrain yourself from jumping from one woman to the other. Even there are women who give it out freely. You don't know their motive. So be careful. You prevent it. Prevent yourself from getting sexual transmitted infection or diseases. Then again, one abstains until one is ready for a sexual relationship. Yes, some people who keep their virginity till marriage. That's a good one. One abstains to wait to find the right partner to give that gift of virginity to. It's a very priceless gift. So I will encourage you, because today we have so many societal decadence. The moral decadence in the society is on the high side. If you abstain and maintain your purity, your virginity, and you lose it in marriage, that's very fine. One also abstains to focus on school, career, and other extracurricular activity. When you abstain, it means you have focus naturally. When you abstain, it means you climb heights. When you abstain, you become more developed mentally, physically, academically, psychologically, financially, and otherwise. So abstinence is a great concept that needs practicality to make it work. You don't just abstain without a vision, without a focus. In essence, you abstain to achieve results. This brings us to the end of today's program, and I hope you learned something. Though I tried as possible as I can to break it down to people's level of understanding. And I know that there are times that one becomes confused in life. Once you approach that point, you need to abstain from some certain things to get a grip on your reality. So if you have any questions for me, please kindly contact me on Facebook, Dibia Nwangu Chendo. Also on my YouTube, if you want to listen to various expository teachings on culture and tradition, Dibia Nwangu Chendo on YouTube. You like and subscribe to my channel. Also, you can get across to me on radio, ADN Radio, New York. So, this brings us to the end, and I hope you enjoyed today's program. Thank you for listening. It's bye from Dibia Nwangu Chendo.